facing today's Black entrepreneurs. And so the best way that we can inform our community about those challenges and how to overcome them is to have a discussion with other Black entrepreneurs who are invested in their business, who are invested in their personal and professional growth and development, and who are shining in their businesses. So welcome, 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 welcome. I am Dr. Kreslin. I am located in Houston, Texas. I'm excited about moderating tonight's discussion. My focus is on leadership and women's empowerment. I am the founder of Queendom Connections, the #1 Queendom coaching program in the world. And so I am excited to listen in and chime in and ask the questions tonight and have you all to share what you're doing. So why don't we do this? Why don't we go in alphabetical order? And why don't you start off with introducing yourself? So I think that means that Amber, you will be first. Let's take 1 minute and allow, 1 to 2 minutes, since it's three of you here, to introduce yourselves. Go ahead, Amber.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amber Hawkins, hailing out of Toledo, Ohio. The name of the company is Your Computer Needs of Toledo, LLC. I provide customized on-site, online, and mobile computer training consulting services. I also sell computers and accessories online. Since the pandemic, it has been pivoted to where the on-site has to meet COVID-19 rules and regulations. I provide the type of services and products to small businesses who have 500 and under, who find computers and technology challenging. I additionally do video marketing, audio conversions, form conversions, and also speak on computer topics and trends.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Amber,
You're welcome.
for sharing that. I appreciate that. Okay, Drusilla, please introduce yourself. Hey there.
My name is Drusilla Mugorewera. I'm located in Knoxville, Tennessee. I am the faith to faith speaker. I speak about faith, hope, resilience, and leading with empathy. I am also an international income growth and integration coach. I help skilled refugees and immigrants struggling with low-paying jobs increase their income so they can comfortably live in any country in the world. After losing everything I invested in more than 40 years and relocating to US, I have been told several times that I am overqualified. And then my just first job was $6.55 an hour. And I have been sharing my story for free. After learning how I can get paid by sharing my story on the stage, I decided that I can be a professional speaker and I can also help scared refugees to cash in on their stories and on their expertise so they don't delay where I delayed. So it's my second year in business and I am super excited to be part of this panel.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing your struggles and then how you've learned from that and being willing to share it with others. Thank you so much for that. All right, Dr. Joe, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Josephine Harris. You can call me Dr. Joe. I am a military spouse for over 20 plus years. I am a psychotherapist, an international best-selling author, and a 5-time Amazon best-selling author, as well as a global speaker. I am also the founder of Common Minds LLC and a certified mental health wellness coach and advocate, where I am committed and voting on women, particularly military spouses, where I facilitate for them and providing them opportunity for hope, whether it's through empowerment, a transformational message, through personal or professional growth.
Awesome. We have a very diverse group of women in here in terms of your background and expertise. So this is going to be super excited. And so again, our topic is it's not over until we win. Okay. So this is about real talk. So I want you to be authentic, honest, and just really pour forward, all of your knowledge and your understanding about the questions, because we know as African American and Black entrepreneurs, we all have challenges. So let's really give the audience all that they signed up for in this discussion. So first of all, let me say, Amber, let me ask you, what does winning as a Black entrepreneur look like to you?
To me, winning means everything from you're having the recognition of your expertise as far as the business that you are conducting. You also have winning as far as doing what you can to help in whatever population you are serving, your best service and your best product. You are being recognized and respected as a business owner. You are recognized and also respected as the person that gets a nice flow of compensation coming your way. You finally, as far as winning, are keeping yourself balanced. We can get so busy sometimes to where we forget ourselves, but you are doing what you can do necessary to make sure that you do what you need to do to pour into yourself, because if you can't be of best service to anyone.
So I heard recognition, first and foremost, that that you've won when you can get that recognition. And I also heard service. What else? What can you share, Drusella? What does winning look like to you? A Black entrepreneur that's winning in business. What does that look like to you?
For me, winning is achieving my dreams and making a global impact, because you cannot win just by yourself. You have to make impact and you have to help a lot of people. And winning for me is living a lifestyle you deserve. Winning also is helping the least ones, educating, empowering, and others. So when you see the light, I think you have to show the light to others. And I think shining my light to others is part of winning too, because I just don't like misery. I don't like people living in poverty. If there is any tip of development, of success, I just want to share with many, especially women, because they were being underserved, underestimated, undervalued for decades. So I win with others.
I hear your passion. And what I hear you saying is that when others win, you win. We all win. And so winning is about really empowering others to win as well. Thank you for that. What about you, Dr. Joe? What does winning as a Black entrepreneur look like to you?
For me, is creating legacies, generation wealth, having a positive impact in the community that you stay in, especially in the Black communities. Because as a psychotherapist and dealing with mental health is very taboo in the Black community. So it's helping them have that understanding that the stigma of mental health is just a stigma, because as in the Black community, we all have to reach out for help. We all have to have that so that we can have that mental stability. So it's like investing in your own in professional and personal development through the community. It's helping the community realize that the mental health is a stigma in our community.
I love it. I love it. It is. And I can really get on that topic. But and there are so many stigmas in the Black community, right? Even as it comes to being an entrepreneur. Uh-huh. And so we have so many to overcome in our community so that we can continue to leave that legacy that you talked about, make an impact, leaving a legacy. These are the winning keys. This is what winning looks like for our Black entrepreneurs. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ladies. Oh, awesome. So in your opinion, Dr. Joe, what is hindering Black entrepreneurs from realizing this vision and why? Please explain your answer.
One of the things I come across a lot of within Black entrepreneurs is competition.
Mm.
And when I mean competition, that people within our community, we try and compete against each other instead of collaborating. Mm-hmm. So one of the most important thing is collaboration trump competition. And one of my mentor always said that. Her name is Dr. Nikki Ziegler. She always say, collaboration trump competition. So in the Black community, we always try to compete against each other, not realizing there is enough wealth out there for everyone, and we can collaborate so that each one of us can even bring it into the Black community as a whole.
Collaboration trumps competition. That's a mouthful. And I agree that competition, when we're competing with each other, that's behind an idea that there's not enough for all of us to succeed. So I love that. I can definitely see that as a barrier. What about you, Amber?
One of the hindrances, I'll do this as a quick two-parter. One of them is, might as well say, address the money, because you need the money to conduct business. You need the money to survive. You need the money to purchase or invest in what you need to conduct your business. And you also need the money as far as compensation to you as a business owner that is fair and that there will not be any arguments about, if that makes sense. And let me do the B part. The B part is whom you're surrounded by. If that could be a whole nother talk, but anyway, it's going to let you know, and also you're going to be experiencing who is for you and who is against you. If your goal is to be an entrepreneur, make sure you're surrounded by entrepreneurs. If your goal is to be in this industry, you have to be surrounded by those who are experienced in whatever industry you would like to enter. If your goal is to achieve anything that you're thinking about, that's who you need to be surrounded by, that sect, that group, that committee, whatsoever. Because if you're not surrounded by entrepreneurs, you're going to be surrounded by people who are not going to understand how you talk, how you think, how you're trying to succeed, because that can really block you by whom you're surrounded by.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Great. And so what comes to my mind, one of the things I share with people is that don't cast your pearls to swine. And so, we go around people and we cast our pearls and the people don't understand. And before you know it, you are discouraged, or people are bringing you down, or people have an opinion and it's sending you in a tailspin of emotions that didn't have to happen because you weren't surrounded by the right people.
Definitely.
And the money, that's the real talk. The money.
Yes.
What are the challenges for Black entrepreneurs as it pertains to money? Anybody else want to chime in on that?
So, let me talk about money. So recently, I was in a training, and people say, sometimes I want to make more money. So we cannot make money because who make money is the government and the agency attached to the government, but we can have more money. Personally, I think that there is enough money for everyone. And we have to know how to get access to money. And sometimes I like Robert Kiyosaki, how he explains assets and liabilities. Sometimes we think that we have money in the bank, but it's a liability for us. It's an asset for the bank, but it's not for us. For example, I want to tell you that after learning that, I went to the bank. I don't have enough money there, but I have my IRA. Why my IRA will be there, not serving me, while I can use it and then they charge me a little bit interest. And I can just go and use it when I need it. And then that little interest will pay off. So I think really one of the problem I wanted to address is the limiting beliefs. Because I think also we have to think our relationship with money. And one of them is like the limiting belief saying that we cannot access money. But if our dreams are bigger enough, if they make us cry, we'll find money. And I want to tell you why, because I lost everything as an immigrant. I came here, I started from nothing. I just had one of clothes on me. I didn't have a house, but I have been in this country 13 years. But now I have a house. It was 110,000 worth. I paid off 65,000. So I'm paying little by little. But the reason why I am engaged in business and to be financially in the time free, I happen to define my uniquely qualified talents and gifts I have. And everybody has those ones. So by the time we will think, and then another problem I think Black community has, we have wounds we have to heal. Wounds we have to heal, and we have to network better. The predecessors talked about the surrounding. So if we network better, in our culture, I'm from Rwanda, they say that if a bird doesn't fly, they don't know where the nectar is. So I think the more you associate with winners also, you also win. You have that oil coming to you. So I think we have to have a real talk about money.
Yes.
Personally, I think really there is enough money. It's like when we are immigrants and people say, oh, you are coming to take resources. I say, no, we are not just takers, we are givers too. But there is a lot of resources. There is a lot of enough money for everyone. We just have to have the techniques and the tactics to get to it and to learn how to use money.
Yes. Yes, you said a lot. And so the first thing that really stuck out was the struggle. Like, it's okay to struggle and get in that bad place, because sometimes that's where the real purpose and the real strength is birthed, in order to just really motivate you and empower you to go and take what's rightfully yours, right? Because wealth is ours. It's ours to have. But I also heard you talking about the wounds. Like, as a community, we are a very wounded community. We're a very wounded community. And I think the lack of networking goes back to what Dr. Joe was saying, is the competition. You know, the fear of networking, or thinking that I'm not going to go, network with this person because they're doing what I'm doing. There's no competition. There's enough for all of us to go around. And like Amber said, we got to make sure that we're in the right circles. We are in the circles with the collaborators and not the competitors, so that, we can stay motivated. So very good, very good. So let's move on. So Mr. Oliver, are you present? We can't see you. Okay, so what has been your greatest challenge as an entrepreneur, Amber? What has been your greatest challenge?
Ooh, out of the many challenges.
Yes, what has been the
As they
greatest?
say, okay, well, let me think of the one. I would say The one is having where people pay my worth.
Mm.
The scenario I'll put this way. We're glad that you're doing what you're doing, but why does it cost so much?
Uh-huh.
It's not that we don't need what you're providing, but I can go here, go there and get it for free.
Mm-hmm.
Understandable, but you can only get so much for free.
Right.
You put your bid in, your proposal to gain a contract, gain the customer.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get it, that happens. You find out that someone else doing what you're doing gets paid more. Was that person. And not only that, you, and sometimes for any of us who are in fields, which is maybe more of a male dominated field, nothing against that, but another proving of the word sometimes is I might not know that much as far as information technology, as much as computers and as much as technology as the next person, but the knowledge that I have is the knowledge that I've gained from what I've studied, what I've had to do in order to acquire the knowledge that I have acquired. I might not know everything, but I can be the person that says, well, this is what they said. And breaking down what the jargon is and everything. So it's the worst part that can be, and it still is, quite challenging.
Yes. So because people don't want to pay, do you struggle with pricing and stating what your prices are?
At times I do, yes. I
So-
feel I've gotten better. That comes with the growth as far as an entrepreneur. It's still a challenge, but I still do what I can to overcome it.
Yeah. So what's the greatest challenge out of the two? People's response or your courage to charge what you know you're worth?
People's response.
Okay. Okay. And how have you dealt with that?
They're not the customer, so I have to keep it going on to the next one.
Gotcha. So do your customers question your prices? Oh, you're saying they're not the customer that for you at
Correct.
the time. Got it. So there's potential customers, but because they can't pay it or don't want to pay it, they're not the customer for you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Had to get some clarity there. Okay, what has been your greatest challenge, Dr. Joe?
Wow. As a psychotherapist and an international psychologist, I would say unity. I would say unity because in the Black community, we really, sometimes our people like us, look like us, really doesn't really want to buy from us. So that can be very challenging because they go up, even though we have prices that's reasonable, they'll go to a much higher individual, a consumer, instead of their own community, because we as Black entrepreneurs, sometimes it can be difficult for us to even buy from other Black entrepreneurs. So that's one of the very challenges I go through as a psychotherapist is unity, lack of unity.
Lack of unity. Wow. Wow. I can attest to both the pricing and the lack of unity as well. We've got to figure out and how we can overcome those things. And hopefully we'll be able to discuss that more while we're here. Drusella, what has been your greatest challenge, the greatest challenge that you've experienced as a Black entrepreneur?
I think as a Black entrepreneur and as an immigrant, I had probably to work twice, to make people, to prove myself, if I can say. So I had to work like long hours. I also lead a nonprofit as an executive director. But sometimes you have to work long hours and forget yourself. So now what I did build a team, but also I learned that the rule of 8 hours to work for somebody, 8 hours of sleep with the psychologist, you can say, and then 8 hours of doing your business or working on the family. So now I know that I can be part-time on the work, on the job, and be part-time on my business. I am progressing very well now because I'm now dedicated, and I have to find time to work on my dreams. But I think sometimes we want to be the savior of the world. We want to work hard even if the problems are bigger, but we'll never save the world. So, and we have to think about ourselves and our families before helping others as well.
Absolutely. Very powerful. The power of 8. Is that what you said?
The rule of 8.
The what of 8?
Yes, rule.
Oh, the rule of 8.
The rule of 8. I love it.
8. Yeah.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your wisdom on that. Wow. Wow. So what have you all learned so far just in this discussion from each other?
Wow.
I would say there are a lot of, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I would say each of us have many similarities as far as what we had to do to overcome, as far as, you know, problems that we've encountered, that we did what we needed to do to overcome them, what our professions are. But also what's wonderful are the differences, and we can celebrate our uniqueness. I'm unique in my way. Dr. Joe is unique in her way. Drusilla is unique in her way. And you, Dr. Crescent, are unique in your way. And so is James. We are all unique. We are all wonderful. And we all have our talents and everything to contribute to help to do what we can to make the world better.
I love it. I love it. Anybody else? Anything that you've learned? We're kind of like at the halfway point right now. So I want to do a check-in with you. Like, what are we learning from each other? What are we, you know, what are you wanting to say that I haven't asked you so far?
One of the things that I learned is that, not to exclude James, but we all are female entrepreneurs. And I know within the Black entrepreneur world, as females, that's another struggles that we struggle with, being a female, especially with Amber as a computer person. And I know you struggle with that as a female because my husband is a computer guy and he's over a certain amount of people. And one of the things that he was talking about of his females entrepreneur is the struggles with the female getting clients in. So they mostly geared more towards males than females in the computer world. So I'm learning from us all the different skills and revenue that we have coming in is that we are unique, even though we in the Black entrepreneur world, we all are females. And the difference is that we know that we have these struggles and we try to overcome them, and any obstacles that get in our way, we press through them and move forward.
Right. We keep it moving at all costs. I love it.
This is what I wanted to get, how no matter the challenges every one of us face, we keep moving and we keep pushing, keep learning. I think Amber's talked about investing ourselves. That is key. So we keep learning, and I wish also, as Dr. Joe said, that we can support each other, because sometimes you have to see where people are struggling, and if you have a chance to push them up, do not miss that chance. So I enjoyed the talk.
I love it. I love it. even, just being an entrepreneur today, we would think that it would be a little bit easier for us by now. But it sometimes it seems like it's harder than it's ever been, especially for our, people are dreaming, we're doing different things than we've done in the past, right? So this discussion is so important, and I know it's going to help so many people just by knowing that these amazing women on here are having the same challenges and struggles. Women and one man, they're having the same challenges and struggles that they're having. So I want to thank you all so much for your vulnerability and for being willing to share. So we've been talking about the struggles, but the second part of this conversation is focused on what can we actually do about it? Okay. What can we actually do about it? So you've experienced some success or you wouldn't be here. So let's really dig in and share some tools and techniques that can help other entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs to overcome some of these challenges. So what are the tools and techniques you've used to overcome some of your challenges on your entrepreneurial journey? Drusilla, let's start with you.
I think my first tool is to define my why. What is my purpose? What I want to achieve? What legacy do I have to live here? Because I'm a grandma. My grandson is 2 years old. And I want to inspire him. I want him to see that even if I am almost 60, I will work. It's not over until I win. So the second thing besides defining my why, I network like crazy. And I want to teach my African American sisters really to network in person, online, their face group. Even if you have fear, we have to overcome that fear. Because if we don't network, they say your network is your net worth. Yep. So many of them are down there because they're isolated. We have to take them from that isolation. So, and we can bring one at a time. Because I think sometimes you have also to encourage people and to listen to them. Because sometimes I say, why, when I go into the room and I see, where are others? And I say, are they informed? Do they have the technology they need? So I try just to understand why we are minority on the scene of business. But I wanted people just to define the why and to believe in themselves. They are capable, they have talent they are uniquely qualified for. So after defining my why, and then I did plan my work and hire a coach. Nobody will develop without a mentor or a coach. That I did see that. And also when I was seeing the trainings here and there, like being a butterfly and spending 2,000 here, 1,000 here, 1,000, I decided to hire like a company having marketing, having all the things in one, who will teach me the funnels. And then for refugees and immigrants, we can learn also. I want just to give them a message. We do not have to play small. We can play big. So these are the two things I can share, but without a coach, without a mentor, it's hard to succeed.
I love it. You said a mouthful. Know your why. Know why you are doing what, and how many times do we get lost in the sauce and we forget why we're doing what we're doing? We have a setback, we have a failure, and we just, lose it because we're not focused on that why. Like, why am I doing that? Because if we keep that why in front of us, we wouldn't let much discourage us. I love that. You talked about networking and hiring for help, which is why the money piece, I think the greatest challenge for our Black entrepreneurs, is so important because we need to be able to put the money in your bid. I think you mentioned that earlier, Amber. It's the money that you want to make, but it's also the money that you need to put in your business. And so hiring the people that can help you, hiring a coach, that seems like it's sometimes complicated for our Black brothers and sisters to do, is to pay for a quality coach, because there are a lot of people calling themselves coaches these days, and maybe they're being burned in that arena. I don't know, but a coach is so very important. So is a therapist. So is a psychotherapist. They do two different things, or some people can be a therapist and a coach, and they know the difference between those things. But some people can't get to the coaching until they can heal those wounds that we talked about earlier. Drusilla, you have shared such a book of knowledge just in that.
And if I can add a small thing on that coaching.
You can.
There are also free resources.
Absolutely.
You know, there are people who do challenges. There are masterminds which are free or just $47 or $97. So you can invest little and harvest much. So I think probably I want to keep in touch with you ladies, so the conversation doesn't stop here. So we have to see how we can multiply thousands of us using the resources you and I already know to help others to know that.
I love it.
Love it.
Thank you so much, Drusilla. Amber, what are some of your tools and techniques that you've used to overcome the challenges on your entrepreneurial journey?
There actually have been many, but I'm going to say this. Earlier, we had talked about, the challenges each of us are facing or have faced. There are, as Drusilla says, so many resources out nowadays. There are some in which I wish were around in I would say the first 3 to 5 years of my business. So I would say greatly take advantage of those, because I'll go back to when the pandemic first started. Here come all of these resources provided for free online about this aspect of business, about this aspect of small business, as far as doing task A, B, and C, and on from there, that were just coming from the woodworks. And you had the opportunities, and you still have the opportunities with a lot of them, as far as gleaning from that knowledge and that information. One of the other things is that I'll touch money in this way. All of these small business grants, usually grants are in the nonprofit sector. But since mid 2020 and on from there, I mean, there had been for small businesses before, but the floodgates opened as far as small business grants are concerned. So anybody out there listening to us, please take advantage of those. Please do not give up on your business. Please find out and get assistance if that is not your forte on applying for them, because they're out there. They are available for different industries, different populations, and on from there. I would say the third thing is, and I'll touch on computers and technology, there is help as far as if you are challenged in that way. Because whatever you do, however you do it, computers and technology is going to be involved one way or another. And computers and technology, I say this a lot, it is not going to go backwards. Maybe to go back down memory lane and that's it. But it's going to go forward and keep going forward. And you need to make sure you are computer and technology sound.
Great. So I'm glad you touched on the resources that we had during the pandemic, because I have to admit, I was one of those who was skeptical when they first started giving away money. The government, I was like, oh no, they want something from me. You know, I just did not trust it. I did not, but I
understand.
I got on board, you know, I got on board. Black people just haven't had a lot of success with the government. And so, I was very leery, but I did get on board and I was able to take advantage of that. So I want to share for those entrepreneurs who may have gotten a grant or gotten a loan through the Small Business Administration, that if you did not maximize the amount of money that you could get, they are still loaning money at a very small interest rate. And so use other people's money. If you believe in your business and you know you have something that can be lasting, then use other people's money to really build that for yourself. So I'm glad you brought that up, because that was a powerful tool, and it still is a tool. I don't think if you didn't take advantage of it at first, I don't think you can just start now and get that COVID loan. But if you were a part of the process and you only got a few dollars or what have you, a few $1,000s, if your business is eligible for more than that, you can still go back and get more. So thank you for bringing that up. And also,
you're very welcome.
Yeah, you're telling us to embrace technology. It is not going anywhere. Whenever you go into a store and buy a computer and get it home, soon as you take it out of the box, it's obsolete, it's outdated, because technology is moving that fast. So yeah, I agree. That's one of those things that I'm leery about sometimes too, but it's not going anywhere. So we have to figure out how to use it for good and not get turned off by it, but just because some people are not using it that way. So thank you so much, Amber. That was very valuable.
You're very welcome.
What about you, Dr. Joe? Give us some tools and techniques to help us overcome some of the challenges, which you've used to overcome some of the challenges on your journey, and I know it's going to help us as well.
One of the things what the lady said is building that network. Building that network, getting a mentor, getting a coach, getting a therapist, because as a psychotherapist, I have a therapist and I have a coach. So it's getting that, taking care of your mentally, your physically, your spiritually well-being is even also looking into the eyes look through the world through other people. It's like getting that trend setting requires unconventional thinking. Whether you understand, you got to play the market. You have to really have the opportunities to know your market. Who are you marketing to? What are your consumers? What are your target audience?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. The marketing piece, that's what I love about Black CEO, that I was not marketing savvy and they are. I mean, they are amazing with marketing, and it is so important. That's how people, stars, NBA players, everybody, it's not just based on skills that they get picked up, it's on marketability. And it's on there. People are looking at your Facebook pages. They are looking at your Twitter. They are looking at your Instagram. They are Googling your name. So it is so important that we make sure that what we put out there aligns with the image that we want people to see about us. So that marketing is also important in building your network. We keep hearing that word come to the surface. Network, network, network. Drusilla said it best. Your network is your net worth. And so you do business with people. You exchange money with people. So the network becomes your net worth. So very, very, very valuable information. Were there any other tools and techniques that you all thought of as you heard other people sharing that you want to share?
One of the things I say is get it teamwork.
Teamwork.
Make sure you're a good team player, because when, as that old saying say, teamwork make the dream work. Absolutely. So you have to have trusted teamwork. And with me, I have a biblical affirmation for my business. Mm-hmm. So with me, I put God in everything I do. So without God, I can never flourish this, because God bringing the vision to me. So and he implementing the vision through me, and I'm prospering the vision. So it's me putting God in everything I do.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I'm with you on that. I am totally with you on that. Give him everything, turn everything over. And that's one of the things that I learned to say this year. Help me.
Mm,
Mm.
yeah.
Help.
Yeah. And another thing I learned is write down your goals. Sometimes you trust our memory
Mhm.
and you forget. But if, for example, recently when I was on a training with my coach, he said, how much do you want to make this year?
Mhm.
So how much it will be a month? How much it will be a week? How much it will be a day?
Yes.
So, and then I can say, hey, how am I progressing? Because if you don't have those goals, how do you measure? So sometimes you have just a global goal, but you have to be specific and having those small goals. And another techniques and tip is celebrate small wins. Lisa Nichols, I like her. She's an African American motivational speaker. She said, celebrate the wins. Sometimes we don't see those ones and they keep us moving. You know, no matter how small they are, it's an achievement. Just jump and celebrate. Give yourself something that you accomplished something.
Yes. I think that goes back to some of the wounds we have too, is that we just strive, especially as African American women, strive, 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 strive. And we don't give ourselves that compassion. We don't give ourselves that pat on the back. We don't give ourselves that attaboy that we give to everybody else. So celebrating small wins, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And of course, write the vision and make it plain. We got to write those goals down, and even the money goals. Write those goals down and begin with the end in mind. And then, like you said, backtrack. What's your year goal? What's your 6-month goal? What does that look like every month? What does that look like every week? What does that look like every day? Very, very, very powerful. Very powerful. And then, like I said, help me. Because as African American women, we don't ask for help. And so that's this year, that's been one of the things that I have just committed to my memory, that if I'm just sitting here working by myself, ask for help. God help me. I can't make it to the grocery store. Call my husband. Today I called him. He said, what do you want from the store? I said, I don't want you to go to the store. I want you to come home and make sure the grandkids are not slamming the doors, because I have a 90-minute conversation tonight and there could be no background noise. And so I need you to help me.
If I can interject this quickly, Dr. Cresslin,
Absolutely.
the part as far as the help, prayer, of course, because your faith will be tested.
Absolutely.
Let me assure you, and I'm sure the other ladies agree with me, that your faith will be tested at times, and connecting with, I would say, someone who is more experienced in that. I do what I can, and I still do, to connect with seasoned entrepreneurs, those who have had more years than I have, those who have more experience in what I'm not experienced in, those that can lend a listening ear, because I may need to vent.
Yes.
Is because it could be where you run into so many frustrations that you need that listening ear. You need a confidant. You need to have, this is what I have. This is the contract I'm going after, but I just don't understand whatever it is you don't understand. Your thoughts and ideas about this, that, and the other, and on from there, because we don't know everything.
Absolutely.
We cannot do everything. We can do all we can. And multitasking, I'm sure that's a term that hasn't been heard in a long time. There are times when we can flow extremely well, multitask and do 20 things or 30 things at the same time and get it done. But many times, if we're realistic and when we're honest, we're humans.
Absolutely.
We're not part of the sea world where octopus live.
Right.
So, you know, gotta think about that.
Absolutely. Very, very valuable. Prayer and mentorship. Ask somebody to show you the way. And that takes humility, right? And prayer too. Prayer is like, I need help. That's the humility. And so humility is definitely needed on this entrepreneurial journey. You all have been so gracious and graceful in sharing some very valuable tools. So we're on our last question, and looks like we have James present. Can you hear us, James? And
I can hear you fine.
awesome, awesome. Well, why don't you give us a short introduction of who you are and what you do?
I am, well, first of all, the name is James Oliver. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, or the greater Cleveland, Ohio area. I am an accountant, specifically a enrolled agent, and I also share the title of money coach and proactive tax strategist.
Wow, awesome, awesome. So we haven't been able to see you or hear you, but I think you've been able to hear us, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we have about 8 minutes before we wrap it up, and I have one last question. But before we get to the last question, was there anything that was burning inside of you while you were listening to this conversation of these amazing 3 women that you wanted to share on this topic? Is not over until we win, the real challenges and struggles of a Black entrepreneur?
The one thing I was thinking about was value. And so what I mean by value is that when you give yourself enough value, or when your clients perceive you as having enough value, then money is no longer an object. You know, for an example, we all know that a Mercedes and a Ford Escort will get you to the same place at the same time, assuming you're driving correctly. However, people who want to buy a Mercedes-Benz or a Lexus, they know that because there's so much value, money's not as important to them as, let's say, someone looking for an Escort or a Kia, you know. And so the more value you can project within yourself, or that your clients see you, then money becomes no longer an issue. So with me, in terms of accounting, my specialty is taxes. And so I had to try to differentiate myself from H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt, those places. And so becoming an enrolled agent was one of the things that I did to differentiate. And then also in terms of tax planning, that was another big thing that I was able to get people to understand, that just doing your taxes is one thing, but if you're trying to save taxes in the long run, and also in terms of building and becoming financially independent, those are things that I could help people with that H&R Block can't.
Gotcha.
So.
Gotcha. So you said a mouthful in that first statement, that when we see ourselves as valuable and others can see us as valuable, then money is no longer an issue. And so how is that created for the Black entrepreneur? How, you know, what are the elements of value that a person needs in themselves in order to get other people to see them as valuable?
Well, you've got to probably be the orange amongst the apples. You got to be the different person. You know, you got to be, like I said, you got to be the Mercedes-Benz or the Lexus among the cars. Mm-hmm. And so, and what you have to show is that you do more than just, you know, instead of, one of the things, for an example, someone says, what do you do? I say, I help business people save money on their taxes, versus just saying I'm an accountant, because everybody, accountant is an accountant, CPA, whatever. But if you say something like, my business, I'm in a relationship business, and my goal is to help business owners to save money on their taxes, that then catches sometimes people's eyes and ears and say, okay, well, how do you do that? That leads to a conversation, and then sometimes I can get, it's a way to get business. And so you have to think of things that you do that you uniquely are you're in terms of your strengths and weaknesses, and how you service people. And so people see that uniqueness, that's something different than what everybody else is doing, then they will tend to gravitate towards you that way.
Great advice. Great advice. Dr. Joe, I see you lighting up.
Yeah, let me piggyback off what he said with the value, because I'm a psychotherapist, and there's many psychotherapists out there. There's many international psychologists out there, but I am a military spouse with a PhD in a psychotherapist. So when I put value in a mental health coach, where I help the military spouses through challenges with their mental health. So you see the difference. What he's saying is the value that I put on myself.
I love it. So you put your money where your mouth is. You said that you were something, and then you went and got the credentials to back it up, which adds value, the letters behind the name. So I totally get it. So listen, y'all, we have 4 minutes before we not finish the conversation, but we wrap up this part of the conversation. Okay, so I want you all to take no more than 30 seconds each to, if you had just one game-changing recommendation to share with other Black entrepreneurs or those aspiring to be one, what would it be? One game changer. One game-changing recommendation, what would it be? Amber.
Don't hold back what makes your business unique. Everybody does this, everybody does that. But make sure you even rehearse whatever makes your business unique. Because if you rehearse it, you're going to have the confidence to say it without stumbling and letting it flow like water. That's my analogy of it. So for instance, yes, there's computer training, there's consulting, but what makes me unique is that it's customized, because not everybody learns the same. And I'm still one of the few computer trainers, if the house is big enough, who still specializes in coming to your home and training you on your own equipment, training you on your own computers. Again, got to meet COVID-19 rules and regulations.
I love it. So don't be afraid to identify what makes you different from the competition and putting it out there and rehearse it, know it, so you can share it with confidence. Wonderful. Dr. Joe, one game-changing recommendation.
One of the things I would say, your professional and personal development, the power of connection and entrepreneurship. Invest in yourself.
Okay, I love it. We've been saying network, 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 and then also invest in yourself. Thank you. Drusella, one game-changing recommendation to share with other Black entrepreneurs.
You are worthy and deserving. Know your gifts and monetize them.
Love it. Know that you are worthy and deserving, and monetize your gifts. Awesome. All right, James, what's your one game-changing recommendation?
I'm going to maybe piggyback off of Amber a little bit and say, have a 30-second elevator speech that you can, that has some power to it, some zing to it. So when people ask you what you do, in 30 seconds, you can tell them and have them, and obviously practice it so that you can feel confident when you say it, and people will see that confidence in you.
Awesome. I love it. You all are great. It is 6:15, and my one recommendation is that they will connect, that Black entrepreneurs out there and aspiring entrepreneurs connect with great people like these that's on this panel, and also to connect with BlackCEO and other organizations that can help monetize your gifts, as Drusella said, and really help you market your business. Okay, this has been wonderful. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for the moderation.
I'm just stopping recording.
is Geronda Marks, also known as Coach J, and I am hailing from Forney, Texas. But I am a 504 girl, born and raised in New Orleans. So I thank all of you once again for tuning in and sharing with us. And I'm going to actually do an extensive workshop, just some things that I think will be helpful for you around the topic, the upside downs of being a successful CEO. The reason why this particular topic is so dear to my heart is because, you know, in my own life, I can attest that it hasn't always been a bed of roses. It hasn't always been easy. Success didn't come easily to myself or my husband. We both have several businesses, and it's been a rocky road. It's been challenging, but God has been faithful. And I believe it's because I stayed the course. And when I say stay the course, I mean that I'm consistent. And so consistency is the key for you to be able to experience the full manifestation of what you dreamed of, what you've been believing God for concerning your business, to be the CEO of your own life, to be the boss. And so there's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. And you have to be willing to what? Stay the course. And so that's what we're going to talk about on today. And I'm going to delve a little bit more in this subject matter because I want you to have the right tools on the journey. I want you to have the right mindset as you are pursuing your business, building your empire, leaving a legacy for your family. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go through some things, and I'll pause and I'll share my own story, and then we'll work through a few of the questions. And so I hope this blesses you. I want you to be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in this great call, this great work that God has called you to in the marketplace. So go ahead. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen even now. All right, so let's talk about this whole notion of the upside downs of being a successful CEO. All right. So the question becomes, do you have a dream? Come on, let that sink in. I hope you do. I hope you have a vision for your family, a vision for your finances, a vision for your business. Do you have a dream? What are those dreams? And I want you to take time and list them. You see, the word tells us in Habakkuk, I'm not here to preach to you, but it may come out of me, this is normal. But in the book of Habakkuk, it says, write the vision, make it plain, so those who read it can run with it. Come on. So you have to write the vision. You have to write down your dream. What is it that you want out of life? And so if you need to pause, I need you to take a moment and list that. It's nothing like seeing it written. It's nothing like affirming it with your mouth. Okay. So do you have a dream? And I bet you do, because you would not have attended this conference if you did not have a dream of being successful, a dream of being your own boss, right? A dream of leaving a legacy and building a legacy for your family, okay? So let's visualize. Visualization is so powerful, man. When you can see it, you can have it. Yeah, if you can see it, you can have it. And so I want you to take out some paper and imagine your life as a boss, as a CEO. And remember, I'm not sure if you remember in the keynote address, I shared with you, what does being a CEO look like? And for me, I summed it up in 4 words. I said freedom. Oh, God, that word, freedom. I said flexibility, right? Being able to what? Do what you want, how you want to do it, when you want to do it. Financial security. Man, having enough money, not just to be a blessing to you and your family, but to bless others that are in need. That's what I live for. I don't want to just be blessed. I want to be abundantly blessed so that I could be blessed to be a blessing. And so then we said what we said: freedom, flexibility, financial security. And then the other one was fulfillment. Man, I am living this half of my life very fulfilled. Yes, yes. I worked in corporate for 8 years. I worked in nonprofit for 24 years in ministry. And God knows I love doing things that fulfill me. So I visualized my life. I mean, literally where I am now, I visualized this almost 22 something years ago or more. And I'm here. And my daughter's like, did you ever think you would get to this point where you're able to build your own business full time? Because it wasn't always like that. It was a process. And so I told her, I said, I visualized this. I saw this. I wrote it. I did the vision board parties. I wrote in my journal. So I want you to take some time out and I want you to do it. What does that look like? Being your own boss, being the CEO of your own life. What does it look like? Ooh, write that. And not only write it, but I want you to get a picture, a mental picture, and then hold fast to that mental picture, okay? All right, and as I stated, the freedom, the flexibility, the financial security, all of us want that. That's so important as you're on this journey. That's what I'm living for daily. I don't want no chains holding me. I don't want no restrictions. I want to be able to go to my grandbabies' parties, games, fly, you know, if I need to go out of state, out of the country, financial security. Have all of that, man, not worrying about finances, money working for me. That's what I'm talking about. Fulfillment, okay? Fulfillment. Yeah, operating in your sweet spot. Operating in your sweet spot, doing what you love and what you've been called and assigned to do. That's what it looks like to me. But you first have to visualize it. And then you're able to walk into it, okay? So take a moment. And I want you to take these words: freedom, flexibility, financial security, fulfillment, and then any other word. And I want you to write down, what does freedom look like for you? You know, freedom for you might just simply be, you know what? Oh, Lord, not wanting to clock in, right? Or have to punch nobody's clock, right? Yeah, flexibility. Come on, what does that look like for you? Being able to care for your loved one. And no matter how many days you have to spend in the hospital with them, don't have to worry about fear of getting fired because you have been out of work a matter of weeks, right? Oh, that's freedom. That's freedom and flexibility. Financial security, going to Greece. That's for me. Going to Greece, whatever it is, what that looks like, your retirement. Having $10,000 in your emergency fund, no, $50,000 in my emergency fund, able to invest over $200K in some rental property. Come on, you got to see this and you have to write it. And I'm just trying to trigger some things. Fulfillment. Being able to wake up when you want to. People like, what time? Some of my friends be like, on Clubhouse, asking me to get on Clubhouse at 6 in the morning. Nah, on Mondays, I'm not waking up at 6. And Mondays, I'm waking up at 10:30, 11 o'clock, because I do what I want to do. I wake up when I want to wake up, okay? But I'm living a fulfilled life. I love what I do. If I didn't get paid, I'll still do what I'm doing. Helping, adding value to people's lives, serving people. And then what else is there that you desire to do? So I want you to take some time and I want you to fill that out, okay? Remember, success. What does success look like to you? Now, we know what the world deems success, right? And you could just blurt out some words. You could just blurt out some words. When the world talks about success, they talk about money, 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 money. And you need money. Yeah, you do. You do. You need money to survive. All the likes. We have all of these influencers that have like, what, millions of followers, likes, and because of these likes, they're getting paid. Because of their subscriptions on YouTube, they're getting paid. That's success in the world's eyes. People who are gracing stages and you know, have the cars and the houses, and all of that is great. That's the world's way of defining success. So I want you to know that's the world's way of defining success. But what is success for you? What is success for you? That's a good question. And I want you to pause and I want you to think about that. What does success look like for you? For some people, they may not want to necessarily quit their full-time job. They might want a side hustle or a side job to bring in some additional income. If they just had what, $3,000 extra income, man, that would be success for them. Seeing your children graduate from college or high school, that may be success for you. Yeah, and being able to afford to pay their tuition, not necessarily having to take out loans. That may be success for you. Retiring your parents, that may be success for you. Retiring your husband, so he won't have to work as hard. He could get off the road and now he could do his own thing and start the business. That may be success. So what does it look like for you? Don't allow the world to dictate to you what success looks like, okay? So be mindful of that. There's too much pressure that the world puts on us, and we allow the world to put on us and people to put on us on what success looks like. God wants us to be successful. He wants you to accomplish great things. But like I stated before, success is you finding and following the will of God for your life. Okay, that's the right way to view success. And you see I have the acronym RIGHT, and I don't think I put it in here, but I like to say the right way because there's a real intentional growth. This is what success is all about. Real intentional growth happens in time. Real intentional growth happens in time. It doesn't happen overnight. That's success. Success is not an overnight wonder, right? You have some people, they win the lottery, yeah, they become successful, or just they become rich, put it like that. I ain't gonna say wealthy, because when you talk about wealth, it's a legacy. Some people, they become rich and it's what, 1 year only, okay? But you want the right way to view success, okay? So success is you finding and following the will of God for your life. Say that with me. It's what God says concerning your life. That's why you don't have to compete. That's why you don't have to compare. That's why you don't have to complain. That's why you don't have to, pull people down, but you can walk in this calling. You can walk in this assignment freely, because what? It's the will of God for your life. So no matter what other people say, this is the will of God for my life, for my family, for my marriage, right? Success in your marriage. Some of us, for success for them, may be to have a thriving marriage, a healthy marriage, a peaceful home, okay? So that's success, all right? So the right way to view success is so very important. So even as you're on this journey, there's some things that I need you to commit to. 4 things you must do, okay? I need you to choose to trust God. And I'm not trying to push any religion upon you. You may not believe in God. You might believe in the universe. I don't know what you believe in, but I'm a woman of faith, so I'm going to say this. You have to choose, all right? The reason why I say you have to choose, especially on this road, because there's so many things that are going to manifest, and you're going to need some help. You're going to need some support, and you're going to have to be able to realize that you must partner with God on your next journey. You're on this journey and on your next level, okay? You need to choose to trust God. Then I need you to commit to the process. No, upfront, you got to commit to the process. Why am I saying that? Because if you don't make an intentional decision to commit to the process, you won't last. You will not finish. You will start, but you will not finish. You got to be committed that even when life hits you with arrows and darts and you're under fire, there's so much hell going on in your life, you're committed to the process. So not only am I choosing to trust God, I'm going to commit to the process, and then I'm going to collaborate with God. Do you know that you're in partnership with God? Yes, you are. You are in partnership with God. He needs you here on earth to fulfill your assignment. So you got to get your directives from him so that you guys can partner together, right? Nothing like being in partnership with God. I know we're looking for all of these external partners, but I dare you to partner with God and then watch how your business will begin to have some traction and some momentum. And then consistently keep showing up. You know, when people look at my life and they're like, how could you have stayed in ministry for 24 years? God has blessed me in leadership. I've been training thousands of leaders and doing workshops and seminars. And I was consistently doing that. I was consistently showing up on the job in the right position, you know, regardless of how life was hitting me and the things that I was going through. I was consistently smiling, consistently loving, consistently serving, being present. You know, man, it goes a long way. And so whatever you sow, you're going to reap. And so I need you to be consistent. Don't be in one moment and out one moment, showing up on social media, giving good nuggets and tips and strategies. And then next thing you know, they don't see you no more. No, be consistent. Show people that I'm going to be there. Whether you show up or not, I'm going to be there. If one person show up, I'm going to be there, right? So consistently showing up. Those are the 4 things. And when you begin to commit to these 4 things, you say, I'm choose to trust God. I'm committed to the process. I'm going to collaborate with God, and I'm going to consistently show up. Guess what? You will be and see it. You will be the CEO, and the people will see you showing up as a CEO if you do these 4 things, okay? So as we begin to talk about those 5 areas that you need to safeguard, I'm telling you, I feel this so strongly in my spirit that if you safeguard these areas and pay close attention, you know, there's power in being self-aware. And so self-awareness to me is the superpower. You know, when you're able to look at yourself and analyze yourself and assess yourself and begin to see what things you need to change or do differently in order to get different results. And so this whole notion of safeguarding, that means that you're being intentional about positioning what? You know, Holy Spirit or real guards to guard your life. You gotta do this, you have to do this. So those are the 5 areas right here. These are the 5 areas. Your personal life, okay? And you remember, I talked about that when I was sharing with you about you know, that your personal life on this journey, it will suffer. Yeah, it will suffer. But if you have the right things and systems in place, it won't have such a major impact on your relationships. All right. So your personal life is something that you have to safeguard. Your rest, okay, meaning your mental and emotional state. You gotta make sure you're safeguarding that. And then your heart and your mind, remember I said I put those together, they go in hand and glove, like they go together like red beans and rice. But yeah, your heart and your mind, that's so important. Your experiences, yeah, what you go through, don't neglect those things. Go back into your faith file, keep a record of those things that have manifested in your life, the successes, because you're gonna have to remind yourself, if God did it before, he'll do it again. Then your reputation. You know, be a person of integrity, have the right work ethics, be a person of excellence, that when they see you and you show up, you showing up and you're giving it your all, right? And so I want to look and delve a little bit deeper into these particular areas, because I need you to work through some things. Because sometimes we hop into entrepreneurship and we haven't even count the cost. Have you count the cost before you leap? Have you count the cost before you launched? Okay, so I need you to count the cost, and I need you to definitely look at these areas and assess them and see where you are. Okay, so questions, asking the right question gives clues to the puzzles, it gives answers to your next level. So you have to ask the questions, ask these areas some questions. Okay, I need you to ask these areas some questions. So what are they? For your personal life, remember, I'm talking about your relationships, your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with your children, your relationship with your friends. Come on, I don't want them to suffer, because they will as you're building your business, all right? So you need to ask yourself the question, what 5 people are in your relationship circle? What 5 people are in your relationship circle? So if you, can you name them? List them. You need to know. And if you don't have 5 people, fine, list the people. It could be your husband, your wife, your children, your nieces, your cousins, your friends, your church buddies. I don't know, your covenant sister, your covenant dude. I don't know. Okay, list those 5 people. How much time are you devoting to them? Because as you're building a business, you're going to become busy, but you still have to make time for them, right? Are they supportive in the things you're doing? Because you don't need people around you that's not supportive. You don't need them that close to you. You know, it's okay to have them on the outskirts, but if you're gonna be in my holy of holies, my inner circle, I need you to support what I'm doing, like the post or something, share the post or something, tell someone about my product or my services or something. Come on, that's key. You gotta ask yourself, and then, you know, have a conversation with them and say, wait, I don't see you supporting anything that I do, but I'm always supporting you, right? Okay, and then how is your communication with them? Remember, I shared with you 3 things. I say you have to clarify the vision in your relationships. You have to communicate your commitments in these relationships. You have to consistently check in with the people. Don't be trying to maneuver and move around in silence. Like I said, it's a burden. It's really a weight when you don't have the support of your spouse, especially if you're in business. And I want to speak to those of you that are really having a hard time getting the husband or the wife on board. I need you to keep praying. God will turn the hearts of all men, you know, and he will help you get through it. But I understand it can be challenging. That's why I say I thank God for my husband. He's a gift to me. He cheers me on. He supports me. There are times when I have to prepare. I remember, you know, as I begin to prepare for messages to preach or speak, that would take a whole day and I'll be in isolation. And, you know, he respects that. My time of consecration. I say isolation, consecration. And so, but I value that. And so if you have a spouse that supports you, you need to love on them. Your children support your business, knowing that you have had to sacrifice so much, right? But they still love you. That's priceless, right? So what ways can you improve your relationships now that you are in business? Okay. Let's talk about your rest. So make sure you go through those questions, because questions leave clues, right? They can give you answers. They're going to help you keep momentum. Let's talk about your rest. Remember, when I talk about rest, I'm not talking about sleep. Sleep is one of the aspects of rest, but we're talking about the mental and the emotional rest that you need. Here's some questions you need to ask yourself. How many hours of sleep am I getting? How many hours of sleep am I getting? What are some things you do for rest? Ask yourself the question. What are some things you do for rest? What are some things that break your rest or your peace? You have to look at those things, because that's going to determine how creative you're able to be. And your creativity is birthed out of rest, the recreation, you being able to rest your mind, not always be anxious or stressful or moving and all this commotion, right? So that's so important. Okay, so make sure you ask yourself those questions. What are some things that break my rest, that really have me not at peace? Okay, so that's what we're talking about with your rest. Now let's look at your heart and your mind, which is so crucial. The word tells us that above all else, guard your heart, because out of it flows the issues of life. So you have to make sure your heart don't have no toxic emotions, bitterness, unforgiveness, all of that in your heart. You got to cleanse your heart and cleanse your mind, because your mind is a battlefield. All right. So ask yourself some questions. Is your heart healthy? I'm not talking about your physical heart. I'm talking about, you know, like I said, right in here. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about your physical heart. I'm talking about your spiritual state, right? Is your heart healthy? Are there toxic emotions eroding your heart space? What are they? List them out. How are you handling them? And then what are you doing daily to keep a positive mindset, to stay in a positive mindset? And then what are some ways you can guard your heart and your mind? All right. All right. Now we're talking about your life experiences, because sometimes we like to ignore our life experiences as if things didn't happen. Lord, if I could erase. No, all of that. You need the dark streams and the light streams. You need the dark streams and the light streams. All of that is woven into the fabric of your life. And God, all of that tells a story of who you are and how you're able to handle what you handle. Don't you know people are wondering that about you? How are you able to withstand what you're going through or what you've been through? How is it? Because of my ups and my downs, because of my bad days and my good days, because of the pain, you know, and the joy in my life? Yeah, I had to have that. So here's some things to ask. Name at least 3 defining moments in your life that you pulled through. These are successes because you made it to the other side. See, sometimes we neglect to look at these defining moments, and it doesn't have to be grand or big moments. You know, find the little wins, those things that you know, if it had not been for God, He helped you to get to the other side. Now you see why you had to go through it. So take that time. Another question, how did you get to the other side of your valley? That's your story. That's your steps. That's the service that you can offer to someone else, the how to get to the other side. That's why we see a lot of coaching happening, because people are just simply sharing their story and how they made it through divorce, how they made it as a single parent, how they made it through the layoff or the firing, right? How did they get to be the leaders that there was a journey, there was a process, but it's so beautiful and wonderful when you can document those things. Another question you need to ask yourself is, how often do you take time to reflect on your past victories? Okay. Don't allow life to become so busy that you can't take time to reflect on your wins and on your victories. Okay, let's move on. Your reputation. Now, mind you, you cannot stop every rumor. You cannot block every label or remove every label. People are going to talk. People are never going to, you know, you won't have anyone's 100% approval, right? So don't even worry about that. Just mind your own business. And that's what I say. Everyone will not like you. Everyone will not support you. You just have to keep it moving. Okay. Keep it moving. And this is what I want to echo. I want to echo. You cannot control what people say about you, but what other people think of you is none of your business. Keep it moving and mind your business. Okay, that's what I wanted to tell you. All right. So do understand that there'll be fiery darts that are going to come, right? But just make sure that you're not giving people ammunition to kill you. And what I mean by that is, be a person of your word, a person of integrity. Don't just be living any kind of way. And now you're giving them the ammunition to kill you, to slaughter your reputation. You're not perfect. You're progressive. Right? I'm not perfect, but I'm progressing in every area of my life. But make sure that you're being kind. Make sure that you're being generous. Make sure that you're being true to your word and you're showing up authentically you, okay? So your reputation, here are a few questions you need to ask. Just 2, are you easily offended by what people say or do to you? Because if you are, you're not going to last on this journey. I remember when I first started out in ministry, you know, you sometimes think that when you work for the church or you work in ministry, that everyone's going to be nice, everyone's going to be kind. No, they have some devils, some demons sitting up there in the church, working in the church, and they're hateful. And my heart was so heavy because of just some of the attitudes, the mindsets, and the ways and behaviors of some of the people that was working. And I was like, I don't like this. But I remember my spiritual father, he shared with me, he said, Yoronda, you got to have tough skins. So I had to grow up and I had to realize it's not personal. To them, it might be personal. This is business and it's spiritual. And it's the enemy's way of trying to keep you from moving forward. So you need to ask yourself the question, if you are easily offended, you need to deal with that offense. Now, offense is going to happen. So you just got to prepare yourself. I like to say, it's these attacks. It's like water on an oily duck. Y'all know if you put water on oil, an oily skin, it's just going to roll right off. And I'm so anointed, so oily, Lord, I stay under your covering and under your anointing. It's just rolling off of me. As an entrepreneur, that's how it has to be, because you got to keep it moving. And so even when people put negative and insulting comments on your posts, just delete it. Don't be going back and forth or telling a piece of my mind. Just delete it. Just ignore it. Just understand it all comes with the success. It all comes with your increase and your upgrade. The other thing is, how do you handle the offense? Do you always want to go tit for tat? Or do you take it to God in prayer? Or do you act mature, mature enough to sit down and reason with one another and really talk to the person you have the issues with? You know, how do you handle it? Come on, let's talk about it. Because we're talking about you moving to your next level, okay? So as you're maneuvering through this entrepreneurial journey, I know it gets hard. It does. It gets hard. But God, okay? God is with you, so you're not alone, okay? And Coach Jay got you covered. As I said, there's ups and downs of being a CEO, but you're gonna make it to the other side. So my desire for you is for you not only to survive as a CEO, but to thrive as a CEO. And as I say, keep showing up. Don't stop showing up. People are waiting on you to show up authentically yourself. And then keep your word. If you say you're going to go to the meeting or you're going to sign up for the course or the class, be present. If they can't count on no one else, they can count on you for showing up. And then I want you to finish strong. Got it? I want you to finish strong. I love this quote that Les Brown says, because on this journey, there's so many things that come and block and stop us, and we allow these fears to hinder us from moving forward. And this is what he said: too many of us are not living our dreams because we're living our fears. No, I'm not gonna live my fear. I'm gonna be a successful CEO at any cost, man. I'm gonna do the work, whatever it is that I need to do, I'm gonna do it so that I can see and leave a legacy for my children, my children's children. And so I'm not gonna quit. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna let my fears block me or stop me. And that's what you have to say to yourself as well, okay? So remember, go out and add value to every room because it's in you. Add value to every table because it's in you. And add value to every life because it is in you, okay? Well, of course, thank you all for sharing with us for the upside downs of being a successful CEO. I do want to remain in contact with you, so you can follow me on all the social media platforms at Geronda Marks. Let me go ahead and end the show and stop the sharing. You can all reach me at Geronda M on Instagram and on Twitter, and I'm also on Facebook. All you have to do is just put my name in, just Google it, Geronda Marks. But also, if you want to send me an email directly, you can. I would love to hear from you and just share with me how this particular workshop has helped you, what sort of transition that you're in, and that this has helped you to really make some good decisions and to really evaluate your life. I want to hear your story. So make sure you send me an email. You can send it to Geronda, Geronda, Geronda at youareunique.org. Geronda at youareunique.org. So remember to follow me on all social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter, as well as TikTok, all of those different social media platforms. And I look forward to meeting you and to also connecting with you. So have a wonderful day and keep showing up.
It's Saturday night and you're about to start another week. Sunday is tomorrow, and typically on Sunday, you may be thinking, I need to work on my social media post, like many entrepreneurs. And then Sunday afternoon comes, Sunday night comes, and you look up, it's Monday morning, and all of those posts that you had up here in your head never made it on paper, never made it on Canva, never made it on a scheduler, never made it to social media. you may be, like many entrepreneurs, guilty of social media neglect. Let's talk about that and see where we go. So you see, the number one problem facing today's entrepreneurs when it comes to growing their business online is social media neglect. All of those great ideas, all of those great marketing ideas that never make it to the platform, never make it in front of their target audience, never make it in front of their leads, their prospects, and their potential clients, and even the clients they have that they should continue to work on retaining, never see that content. And it becomes like a slow death. And the thing is, there's a reason. There's a mindset thing that says social media takes too much of my time. It's using up my time. I have to be working on my business. I don't have time for social media. Let me challenge you on that point. So let's move aside the whole online space. And let's talk about if you decided to open up a brick and mortar. You had a shop. I'll say it's a bakery. I love sweet stuff, so I'll use a bakery. You open up a bakery. Well, you have to have a location. So you set a location and you expect people to show up and purchase your products. And without you doing anything. You wouldn't think that. You know that you would have to advertise in some way to let people know at least you were having a grand opening. Something to let them know that you existed, that you had the bakery. Something to let you know that you had that sweet, irresistible, mouth-watering confection that everyone wants. So you at least had to do some advertising, and then it grew from there by word of mouth. And before you know it, people were coming in. But you know that over time, you would still have to do some advertising. So maybe you post things in a local paper, maybe you post things on a bulletin board in some community areas, maybe you hand out flyers, maybe you ask your customers to share about the bakery. All of that is leveraging social interaction to produce results in your business. Social media is the same way. You've got to make some investment of time to make yourself known, to make your products and services known, to make people know about you and how great your stuff is, your services, your products, so that they will, one, purchase from you, and two, tell other people about you. So just like you would need to invest time and resources if you had a brick and mortar, you have to be willing to invest time and resources if you're growing a business online. And social media is the way to do that. So it's not a waste of time. It's an investment of time. But maybe you already know that. Or maybe not. And you may be wondering, well, am I guilty of social media neglect? If that is the vehicle I am using to help grow my business, have I been neglecting it? Have I been inconsistent in posting? Have I been inconsistent in my messaging? Have I been not engaging with other people in my community or in other communities I'm connected to? Have I just kind of showed up, stood in the back of the room, and then walked back out the door? No one knew I was even there. Have I been ignoring prospects? Maybe I do a post and somebody responds and they show an interest in my services by even getting on my email list, and I do nothing with it. So I have leads, which are people who are interested in my product, services, brand, or mission. And I have prospects, which are people who have indicated by their actions that they are interested in my product, services, mission, brand, or mission. And I'm still not doing anything with either one. I am guilty of social media neglect. And then, of course, I don't want to leave off the table, and this is probably not you, just the straight MIA. Missing in action. Totally off the grid. Totally disappeared. I'm out of here. You don't even remember my name until I come back because I have something to sell. Not a good look. So, these are some of the symptoms of social media neglect. Right? But what happens? What's missing? Why does this happen? Typically, it's missing is a strategy. When you start thinking from a business perspective, you should have a strategy. When you have a strategy, social media is not a hindrance. It is a springboard. The strategy helps you understand how you want to leverage social media to grow your business. How do you grow your business from here, from point A to point B, and then C, D, E, F, G? There is a process. But without a strategy, you're just randomly posting and you're going to get random results. So what's the first thing? You want to set your social media goal. And so your social media goals will evolve over time as your business evolves over time. If you're starting out, your first goal should be all wrapped up in awareness. How do I get as many people as possible to know about me, my business, my product, my services, my brand, my mission? That's my goal. Because what I'm clear about, and what you should be clear about, they can't buy if they don't know you exist. They can't buy from you if they don't know you exist. Awareness is making sure they know you exist. Some other goals is engagement. Not only do I want you to know I exist, but I want you to interact with me. I want you to show a behavior, by your behavior, that what I am sharing has meaning and value to you. That's engagement. Other things such as conversions and obviously clients, all of those are part of the roadmap for your business. And there should be social media goals associated with moving your business along that roadmap. So that's the first thing you need to do, is to set your social media goals. And remember, SMART goals. Goals are, specific, measurable, actionable, or achievable, result-oriented, and time-bound. So as an example of that, I want to grow my Facebook group by 10% by the end of Q1. I have a specific thing that I want to do on social media that is in alignment with increasing my awareness. So my group, I want to see it grow by a specific percentage within a time-bound space by end of Q1. Those are the kind of goals you want to be able to set on social media. So once you set your goal, then you want to figure out, or as a part of setting your goal, pick a platform. Now, many people are on many platforms, and you can be on many platforms. However, I encourage you to pick one primary platform. The primary platform that will get you access to your target audience. the right access to your target audience. It could be Facebook, it could be LinkedIn, it could be Instagram, it could be Twitter, it could be TikTok, it could be Clubhouse. You decide. But pick one and stick with one. It's okay to be on multiple platforms, but if you are already being inconsistent, that just spreads you even thinner. So I encourage you to focus and follow through. Focus and follow through. Pick a platform. Next piece. Content. Did I say content? So it's great if I post every week, but if I'm posting random things not out of line that are not in alignment to what I'm trying to achieve, my goals, my focus for my brand, then I'm not going to see the results. So when I decide on the content, I need to have a content plan. And a content plan should speak to what I consider your pillar contents. What is your brand about? What problem do you solve? Who is your target audience? What product or services do you have? All of those should be reflective of your pillar content. And the content that you craft to post on social media should be engaging and also converting. Engaging says, come, let us talk. Let us work together. Let me share some tips and let me know how that works out for you. If you give me your email address, I will give you more tips or maybe an ebook. If you found this ebook valuable, how about setting up a strategy call with me? Converting. So that's engaging and converting. So your content should speak to both of those things. So here on this chart, you'll see 6 categories of content. 6 categories of content. And if you're interested in these, then you can find them in my community. I have a Facebook group called the Social Media Success Hotspot, where I drop all this kind of tips and techniques and information. So if you go there and join, you get this information. But the categories of content, because you're wondering, okay, how do I not sound like a broken record? I'm always posting the same thing. Diversify your content portfolio. I encourage you to diversify your content portfolio. Mix it up. Have some entertainment. Have some fun. Be willing to post things that aren't about your brand, but are about who you are, who your audience is. So for instance, the age-old Android versus iPhone. Android versus iPhone. Now, that is always a hot topic. Everyone wants to weigh in on that. So that is entertaining. It's fun to see how people, some people are diehard, iPhone users, some people are Androids to the ground. All of that. Those kind of posts always get a lot of engagement. I happen to be an Android user, but I love my MacBook Pro. So I'm an anomaly. There is a group of us like that. But I'm sharing that to say that's one type of content, right? It doesn't have to be about your brand, but it's something to engage with your audience. Other types, inspiration. We're all familiar with the quotes. But also, aside from the quotes, you can do things like trivia, share a story. All of those things can be inspirational, education oriented. Share tips, techniques, resources, things like, other links to websites that could be useful tools. Another is conversation-oriented posts, things that are asking questions, conversation starters, querying people, polls. But also you want to add posts that connect with your people, right? And encourage them to connect with each other. And last but not least, promote your products and services. So out of the 6, you'll see just the last one is promotion. So a lot of the content you should be doing, if you think of the week, you have 7 days in a week, 1 day to rest. So now you're down to 6. You got 6 categories. Out of the 6, you have content that you could post each day out of these content categories. That right there could be your content plan. Once you lay it out, you must have a calendar. Map it out to a calendar. Know what is being posted on what day. You could use a Google Calendar. You could use a Google Sheet. You could use a Google Doc. From common things that people use are things like Trello, Asana. There's a lot of different ways you can manage your content calendar. But having a calendar allows you to put for the day what you're posting, what is the information, your caption, hashtags, what platforms you're posting it on, all of those kind of things, so that you know you're on track. And if you have a team, it becomes a resource for you to use for your team. Your team should be able to go to the content calendar and know what should be happening at a given point in time. Calendar is a must. Now you've laid out your content, you created your content plan and mapped it to a calendar. Now you just have to execute it. Execute it. What does that mean? So you've got all the information, but you want to create the imagery or the creatives associated with the content. So you want to, maybe you're using something like Canva. You want to make sure you have compelling caption. You want to make sure you're using hashtags, and different platforms have different guidelines around using hashtags. But at the end of the day, hashtags help you extend the reach of your content. So you want to have that as a part of your plan. And you want to execute it by setting it up either to post manually on the platforms or to set it up with a scheduling tool. I happen to use socialchamp.io as the scheduling tool I use, but there are many tools out there and you can set them up ahead of time and literally set it and forget it. Okay? There are tools that will post on the different platforms at the same time. You can set them up to randomly post. All of those functionalities depending on the different tools. But having a tool so that if you pick a particular day of the week to set up your schedule for the week, you can literally set it up and forget it. Okay? So that's executing on the content plan. Creating the content plan and then executing on it. 2 different steps, both equally important. And last but not least, how did I do? How do I know that I am making headway? This is when it comes to measuring the results. You want to measure results. So what does that look like? Well, if you have a Facebook group and your content is driving people to your group, then you should see growth in your group. If you have lead magnets and your content is driving people to sign up in your email list, you should see growth in that list. You should see growth in your number of connections or friends or whatever it is that you're trying to drive to measure success. If you have a group, you may want to look at the insights and see levels of engagement increasing. So those are measurements that are trackable. But at the end of the day, with SMART goals, you want to make sure that you have measuring criteria so that you can see that your work is working for you. Okay, so what's next? You created this roadmap, this strategy, social media strategy, right? And you want to know, what do I do next? Will you use it? Right? And then typically people set it up for a quarter and you revisit it for the next quarter and you tweak and tune it and you continue to evolve it as your business evolves. And maybe there's some new things you need to do or new things you need to learn and you need some help. Well, I invite you to join my community. My Facebook community is the Social Media Success Hotspot with Miss Nina B. And, I invite you to be a part of that community so that you can grow your social media to help grow your business. And no more social media neglect. You can simply join by going joinmissninab.com. It'll take you straight there. You can also, join by reaching out to me directly. Connect with me, either on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I love to have you connected to me. But more than anything, let's not neglect social media. Let's leverage it as the tool that it is to grow your business. Thank you.
So, how many of you have ever heard that song, Step in the Name of Love? Step in the Name of Love. Now, we don't need to be quoting the aura anymore, but what about two-step, 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 or maybe some of the saints that are out there that know a little bit about stepping. When you're stepping down that choir stand, well, I'm here today to talk to you about a different kind of step. Because maybe some of you have also decided to join a sorority or fraternity where you're going to step. You got the Qs, the Omegas, the Deltas, the AKAs, so that's a different type of step. And then maybe you thought about, for the saints, like I said, that's out there, if you take one step, he'll make two. But today I'm here to tell you about a different kind of step. That is step up, step out, and step in. That's right. Step up and step out and step in. But before I do that, my name is Dr. Jennifer Harris. I'm the CEO and founder of Purses, Pumps, and Power. And I am so thrilled to just be talking to you today about how you can step up, step out, and step in. So let's start with the first step. Step up. Have you ever thought about stepping up to the plate, or have you ever heard that term, you need to step up your game? Well, in today's entrepreneur, especially as women, as business leaders, you really have to step up your game right now because it is so competitive. But not only that, you are in a league of your own. And when you step up to the game, you start stepping up into what it is that you desire to have in your business, what it is that you desire to have for your family. So step up, okay? Step up and step out and step in. Now let's talk about stepping out. Have you ever thought about what you're going to step out to? Or maybe you put on this nice outfit back in the day. I'm an oldies person, 90s, 80s, 90s type of baby. But have you thought about when you started to step out of the house, you had on the nice outfit, you just about to step out. But let's talk about today about stepping out into your destiny. Let's talk about stepping out into what it is that you desire to have for your family. So today's entrepreneurs, you really have to not only step up your game, but you have to step out into your mission. What is that mission that you know that you're going to have and want to do and be in your life? What are you going to step out of? Maybe some of you are stepping out of fear, or maybe you're stepping out of, toxic relationships, and also maybe stepping out of some bad decisions that you have made in the past. And either way, it's okay, because once you step up and you step out, then you can step into your destiny. You can start to step into what it is that your heart's desire. What type of business you're going to step in? What are you going to step into your purpose? Are you going to step into the wealth and the desire and the finances? Because one of my mentors often told me, wherever you are in life, your mind got there first. But you have to step out of what it is that you think that's holding you back and step into and make that jump, make that leap. And today, when we're talking about entrepreneurship, we know it's not a simple thing. We know it's not a simple task, but entrepreneurship is something. And as a business leader, you can do that. You can step out of fear. You can step out of your comfort zone. And many of you have been sitting a little bit comfy, just sitting back, waiting for things to happen. That's not how we're going to rock this time. This time, when you step out, you're going to be stepping into your purpose. And you're also going to be stepping into the joy and that you deserve and the happiness that you deserve to have in your life. So when I say, two-step, two-step, think about what you're stepping into. Think about oftentimes taking that leap and taking that jump. But not only that, what have you just held yourself back with? What if you, decided that, I tried that business thing. I tried that network marketing. I tried real estate. I tried, being an engineer. I tried whatever it is that you decided to try. But now it's time for you to really step up. And I want you to step up your confidence. I want you to step up not only just your confidence, but I want you to step up your belief. Because many times we may not have all the backing that we want, but when you believe in yourself and you believe in your dream, you can make things happen. And I just tell you just a quick story. When I was growing up, my dad, he made me play sports, okay? He made me play sports. I was like 4 or 5 years old, but he made me step up to that plate as a 5-year-old with that little T-ball. And I was like, okay, Dad, really, I was fearful. But what he was teaching me was to step out of my comfort zone. And also, he was teaching me to step into being a more confident little girl or more confident woman. So now when I'm doing business deals or I'm traveling around the world, I have that self-confidence to not only just step up to whatever my dreams are, but you can also do the same thing. So think about what may have held you back over these last, 12 months, maybe 24 months. Think about what have held you back even in your business. What have you decided to step away from, knowing that you needed to step into and apply more pressure onto that business or apply more pressure onto your finances? So step up, step out, and step in. I want you to leave here just thinking about a different type of step. But now, not only that, for those of you that are believers, when you make one step, yes, he'll make two. And wherever you are in life, your mind got there first. So don't discourage and don't get discouraged. Don't stop from what it is that you're desired to do. And I'm just a country girl from, North Carolina. I am a real estate broker, entrepreneur. And I remember when I was stepping out of being a network engineer, I hated it. Of course, I was on weekend nights and I said, you know what? I have to step up my game because my mentor also told me repair your roof while it's sunny outside. And when I did that, I jumped and stepped into real estate, which has been phenomenal as far as my destiny. I have been doing that close to 2 decades now. But think about what it is that you may have put on the back burner. What are you willing to start to step into? I want you to write that down. I want you to write it down. What have you stepped away from? Now, it's great to step away from toxic relationships. It's great to step away from, frivolous debt and just endless spending. But you can never step away from your mindset. And you can never step away from your imagination, because your imagination is the preview of life's coming attraction. And as a business owner, an entrepreneur, someone that maybe travel in the world or whatever, maybe some of you are just starting, but stepping into that. You have to see it before you see it, or you never see it. And I just feel so passionate about that part. But step up into your destiny. Step up into your mission. Step up into your purpose. And not only that, you may have to leave some people behind. You may have to step out of your comfort zone and leave those, that are trying to hold you back. Some people may call them haters. You can call them, whatever you want to call it. But think about what it is that you know that you need to step up and step out into. So step up, step out, and step in, because it's time to not only declare what you have and want to be and do in your life and in your business, but it's time to step into your purpose, and it's time to step into your destiny, because no matter where you are in life, your mind got there first. So for those of you that may have just decided, I'm going to put this dreams or put this business on a back burner, I'm challenging you today to step up, step out, and start to step into what you know is rightfully yours. Again, I am Dr. Jennifer Harris, the CEO and founder of Purses, Pumps, and Power, and I just delighted to talk to you about two-step.
I'm Cookie Cade with the Impactpreneur Coaching Network. This workshop will help you through your journey, and I'm here for your success. Let's get started. At the Impactpreneur Coaching Network, we inspire business owners at every stage of development to grow and prosper. The agenda for the course is an introduction and course overview, self-analysis, characteristics of successful entrepreneurs, small business failures and success, finding your space, risk, thinking like an entrepreneur, time management, and planning. Getting to know you. Who are you exactly? What makes you so amazing that you would like to create opportunities? What is your business idea and how did you come up with it? Was it something that you're passionate about? Is it something that someone led you to think that you wanted to do? You have to figure these things out. What's your motivation and your why? Is this a passion that you're motivated to do? Or is it something you're just wanting to make money doing? Why is this important to you? Why did you start your business, or why do you want to own a business or wish to start a business? These are things that you need to figure out. You need to figure all of this out prior to starting that business. If you're already in business, you need to have all of these questions asked. What do you hope to learn from this course? These are things whenever you take a course or a workshop, attend a conference, you always need to know what you plan to gain from that. Any knowledge that you gain should help you succeed. What is one goal for your business? This course is about finding your niche. Success depends on finding, developing, and refining a niche. Filling a need that is not being met. You have to create opportunities for whoever your customer is, whatever the business idea that you have. What are you trying to do that's different from someone else that's trying to do it or have already done it? You have to investigate the feasibility of this business idea. Just because you come up with a plan does not always mean it will work. A lot of people come up with ideas that they think will work. They're good ideas, but they don't know how to follow through and make them successful. That's what you need to try to accomplish. You have to complete your business plan. If you have not already done so, ask yourself the crucial questions. All questions need to be answered. Why are you doing this? Who are you doing it for? When do you plan to start? What are you doing? You need to know all of those prior to, or if you've already began, you need to figure that out now. Find your unique factor. Every business is unique. When I started my business, I didn't think there was a need for it, but it really is. A lot of entrepreneurs have no idea what they're doing. They just know they want to make money. Making money is fine, but if you're in it for the wrong reason, which is just to make money, more than likely you will not be successful. You have to always think positive, look at the big picture, and look outside the box in order to succeed. Planning helps you define what differentiates your business from others. If you plan ahead, go ahead, have your business plan, answer those crucial questions. You'll be ready for any obstacle that comes before you. Your most important asset. What is the one thing that your business has that no other business has? Think about it. You must think really hard about whatever you plan to do. Or if you've already started, what are you doing so different from everybody else? McDonald's and Burger King sell hamburgers. They're the same entity. However, McDonald's has the Big Mac, Burger King has the Whopper. They're basically the same thing, but the taste is different. You have to figure out what you're doing that's different from the other business if you're not creating something so unique. Self-analysis. Are you sure you want to do this? Are you a self-starter? You cannot be mediocre and expect results. You gotta be motivated enough to want to do everything. You can't wait on anybody else. You gotta be a self-starter. Do you get along with different personalities? Everyone don't. Everybody's not designed to be an entrepreneur. You have to know how to treat people, how to communicate with people, how to accept criticism. All criticism is not bad. You learn from the negative and you turn it into a positive. Do you have physical and emotional stamina? You've got to be ready for the journey, whatever it takes. If you plan to do this and be an entrepreneur, you got to be ready for it. Whatever you do today determines your tomorrow. Are you good at making decisions? Some people are not. Some people like for others to help them decide. You've got to move quick and think quick when you're an entrepreneur. A lot of times you don't have time to think or assess anything. You've got to be ready for action at the spur of the moment. How well do you plan and organize? You've got to get yourself organized. I was one of those people that was very unorganized. I wanted to do this, do that. Sometimes I think I'm ADD. I was doing so much. I would not plan, or I'd put something on the calendar. Then I'd forget about that because I didn't check my calendar. Now I do everything with my calendar. If it's not on my calendar and I don't get a reminder, it does not get done. I have to make sure that I stick by my calendar. If I plan something that's outside of work, I make sure that I allot enough time for that. You have to allot enough time for meetings, whatever is included in your business. You have to plan and be organized. That's very important. Is your drive strong enough to maintain your motivation? You gotta stay motivated. No matter what you do, you gotta stay motivated. If you plan to be successful, you gotta commit to that idea and stick to it. No matter what happened, no matter what's going on, you never allow anything to steal your motivation, because this is something you want and you've got to do it. How will the business affect your family? That's a biggie. You have to plan for family time. You have to plan for your business. You always commit to whatever you're doing. If you tell your family that you'll be off on a Saturday and something comes up, if it's very crucial and you cannot afford to miss it, schedule around it. See if you can schedule another time. If not, take the time, plan out a quick meeting, take care of that, and get back to your family. Family is very important. You don't want to lose your family because of some idea that you had and you think you can make this money. Money is not everything. Family is important. The characteristics of a successful entrepreneur. Passion. You have got to have the passion for this idea. Whatever you committed to, you have got to have the passion for it. You always think, I'm committed, I'm going to do whatever, and I'm going to devote myself all the way. You've got to be persistent in doing this. You've got to always strive to make things happen no matter what. Good health, high energy. Take time and exercise. Take time and meditate. Whatever your good health habit is, make sure you take time for it. I'm one of those. I'm an early bird. I don't get a lot of rest, but that comes from when I had my job. I go to bed late, but I'm an early riser. I'm up early, so I try and get a little exercise in. If it's no more than 30 minutes, whatever it takes. Even if I'm at the office, I'll stand up, walk in place, whatever it takes, as long as I can get a few minutes to keep myself healthy. I try to eat healthy, but that doesn't always pan out. Whatever it takes to keep your high energy level up, because you've got to be ready for whatever you're doing in your business. Creative and innovative. Now that's an area I'm not good at. I'll tell people, I let people do what they do. I'm not a creator, so I know this. I already know this, but I don't mind asking for help when I need it. I'm very independent and self-motivated. I don't need a lot of people to help me decide if this is what I want to do. I'm very independent. And sometimes my husband tell me I'm too independent. But I guess I was brought up that way, and I don't know any other way. But it's a good characteristic for me. Intuitive. You have got to know what you're doing. Be aware of whatever it is, and get immediate understanding. Self-confidence comes from knowing what you're doing. If you decide you want to make widgets, make the widgets. Know in your heart that you can make those widgets and be good at making widgets. If you're confident and believe in yourself, if you're selling a product, you can sell that product because your confidence is so high that people will believe in your product. And you have to make them believe. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. You have to have the desire to work hard. Hard work has never hurt anybody. If you plan to be successful, you wouldn't mind working hard. Resourceful. You've got to be resourceful. I always tell my clients, if I don't know, I know somebody that knows. I have a large network, and it really doesn't matter what it is. 9 times out of 10, I know somebody that can help with whatever the issue is that come up. Build your network so you can have the resources. It doesn't always mean resourceful as far as money. If you have someone that you can count on to help you out with whatever the issue is, that's a good resource. Personal initiative. You have got to take whatever action is necessary to overcome the barriers, any setbacks, or whatever it is to reach your goal. You don't want anything to hinder you from reaching your goal. There's 6 steps that you can take to develop your own initiative. Develop a career plan. Build your self-confidence. Spot opportunities and potential improvements. Check your idea. Develop persistence and find balance. All those will help you with your personal initiative. Are you a calculated risk taker? I am. I have always been that way. I just figure you can't get anything done if you don't take risks. My sister would always tell me when I was younger, and I think that's where I got it. Scared money can't make any money. She was big on investments. And every time she would tell me about something, I would say, I don't know about that, or I'm not, I don't think I want to do that. But she would always say, scared money don't make any money. And that's true. If you're not a risk taker, how do you know your idea is going to succeed? Everybody's not going to be on board with you. So you've got to take a chance on your idea. Because like I said, if you don't believe in your idea or your business, nobody else will. A lot of times you need to assess whatever the pros and cons are. But in the long run, most of the time, it ends up being very good. Vision. Do you have a vision for growth or success? You've got to decide, is this something I want? Do I see it? Can I see the big picture? Inquisitive. You have got to make sure you are positive. Not always curious, but you can be neutral, but always show interest in what you're doing. If you're high energy strong and you want to really make people believe in what you're doing, you'll ask questions, you will get all the training, you will do whatever is necessary with confidence to be successful. Strong driving to achieve. When I was 12, I wanted to learn to type. Someone gave my mom an old typewriter, and I picked on it. I learned to type on that typewriter, but I wasn't doing it the correct way. My mom said, unless you learn that keyboard, you won't learn to type. So I had a drive to achieve typing. I really wanted to learn because that was something I didn't know anything about typing then, and it was an old typewriter, the kind you pick. I finally learned, but I had a drive. I typed every day. That gave me the determination to want to do more. That drive is something that everybody don't possess because they're not in it for the right reason. You've got to possess that drive to want to succeed. Are you highly reliable? You gotta be trustworthy, because in all of my years of doing business, I'm a strong believer. If you tell someone that you'll do something or you'll provide something for them, you've got to do what you say. And all you have to give a person and keep yourself is your word. If you can't keep that, you don't have anything to give anybody. And you've got to be realistic. I know I can't be a rocket scientist. Number one, I don't like science. I'm afraid of heights. So I cannot say I'm going to produce this rocket because I know nothing about rockets. I know a little about science, but not enough to make a rocket. Being realistic is very important whenever you're doing your business. Commitment is a big one. I'm big on commitment. Commitment is the most important part, I think, of any business. If you're not committed, you won't succeed. Problem-solving skills. You must be able to solve problems. Solving problems is easy, but it's hard. The only thing hard about it is what you make it. And nothing is hard unless you make it. A lot of people don't know if they think that way, they can accomplish anything. No problem is ever too large that it can't be solved. It may take a while, but it'll eventually be solved. Tolerance for ambiguity. You got to be tolerant for really anything. The entire business, you need to be tolerant for you've got to be open to any other suggestions. My way may seem right to me, but someone else may have a better idea, and it may not take as long. You've got to be tolerant to those that may want to help you, but you think your way is the best way. You know, strong integrity. You gotta have good integrity. Oh, very strong. If your integrity is not strong, you may miss out on a lot of business. Having good quality, good strong qualities, and moral principles are very important when it comes to business. People need to know that you have good integrity. The ability to consolidate resources. You need the ability to consolidate resources. That goes a long way. Being able to put things together and get them done, having products or services that your customers need to consolidate is really a good characteristic. You have to have strong organizational skills. Some entrepreneurs refuse to learn. They don't want to team up and get things organized, lead. You must have the ability to stay focused on different tasks. Like I said earlier, sometimes I think I'm ADD because I'll start doing one thing and then I'll get a call and I'll leave that, start doing something else. But then I have to think, in order for me to be efficient, I've got to do everything in order. Competitive. You've got to be very competitive. If your business is one that competes with someone else, you've always got to be planning how you can make your business better. Always. In order to achieve the outcome that you want to get, you've got to stay steady. You've got to focus on what they're doing. Know your target. Know what they need. And be able to give them what they need. You've got to have a tolerance for failure. Remember, all bad things happen for a reason. If you fail at one thing, try and figure out how you can make it better. Do it again. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. Never give up. You never lose until you quit. You've got to have a sense of humor and fun. Everything is not always so serious. I'm one of those happy-go-lucky people. Even when bad things happen, I can find the humor in it. Because if you don't find humor in some things or make it fun, you'll stress yourself out. And you cannot allow this business to stress you out. That's how you just stay calm and be ready for the next day. Nothing is so bad that you can overcome it. You have to have a sense of urgency. If you have a product for sale and you have a delivery date, I look at Amazon Prime. If they tell you you will have something in 2 days, you have it in those 2 days. Sometimes I order things and I get it early, but it depends on what it is. If you have a product for sale and you don't think you can deliver it on time, at least communicate with your client and let them know there's a back order in shipping or something, but don't ignore. Always treat your clients as urgent. That's how you maintain your business. You always do this for your client. Emotional stability. You've got to be stable. You can't be a basket case walking around waiting to go off on people when things happen. I'll never forget, I had a client. She was a nurse, and she wanted to talk to me at like 11 o'clock at night. I said fine, because that was her hours. I had to be there, and I always tell my clients, if I can't be there when you need me, you don't need me. So I always make it a point. If someone need me after hours, I'm there, because I'm trying to be there for my clients, and I have the desire to want to do whatever it takes to make them satisfied. You have to be ready to handle difficult situations, handle adversity, and remain productive, all while you maintaining your emotional stability. You can develop emotional stability by getting sleep. You got to get good quality sleep. Practice self-care. You can ground yourself by meditating, or just create structure. Those are things you can do for emotional stability. Goal-oriented behavior. This actually falls in the range of motivation. You just have to make sure that you stay focused on your goal in order to accomplish. What successful entrepreneurs are not. They're not people that take risks without calculating the consequences. Not at all. People that do not look for resources or help. People who are not realistic. People that only desire to be rich. People that don't have a life outside of their work. These are a lot of things entrepreneurs don't think about, because all they can think about is, I have this product or service and I need to make money. And at the time, that's all that's important to them. But that's not a plan for success. Small businesses fail because of lack of experience. A lot of business owners don't have experience. Sometimes they have the knowledge, but not the experience. Insufficient capital, no money. That's a lot of small business problems. Poor location. A lot of time, and I call it cheap. Being cheap is not the best way. Just because a location is inexpensive does not mean you will really gain any customers. It has to be a good location if you plan to be a real business. Because if people don't know you're there, they're not going to patronize you. Poor inventory management, poor internal controls. If you have a product and you cannot supply your customers, you're not going to be successful. You can't buy 1 or 2 widgets and expect to sell them to 5,000 clients. Eventually, people will say they can never get me what I need, and they'll go somewhere else. Overinvestment in fixed assets. Just like you're in a poor location, if you invest in the Eiffel Tower, and you know rent at the Eiffel Tower is $25,000 a month, but you only get $1,500 a month. You already know you won't succeed. You may stay in business long enough to get a couple of clients, but at that rate, it's too expensive for you. So you know you cannot sustain success if you go that route. Poor credit arrangements. That goes a long way. You can have bad credit, but poor credit arrangements, you need to order something, you can't get it because of your credit. Your supplier is not willing to extend you any more credit. So you don't have the widgets to supply your clients. Personal use of business funds and poor record keeping. You shouldn't commingle your funds. I tell all entrepreneurs, you need a business banking account. Most clients or customers are not willing to write a check to Jane Doe because you did work in the business of whatever you're doing. They don't like that because they like to keep good records, and you cannot run your household and your business on the same account. I have my account. My husband is an entrepreneur. He has his account, and we have our personal account. We don't mingle our businesses together. He has his business account, I have mine, and we keep it that way. You have to keep good records. I use QuickBooks. I like QuickBooks because it does what I need. I'm not advocating for QuickBooks, but I like what it does for me. You have to be prepared for unexpected growth. If you're a small business, you got to think. I always think 5 years ahead. Every year I think I add another year because you have to have a vision to see where you want to be. 5, 10, 2 years, 20 years. Where do you want to be? So you always have to be ready for that unexpected growth. Not enough attention paid to the competition or market conditions. Whatever you're doing, you need to always know what your competitor is, what the market condition is. McDonald's always know what Burger King is doing. Burger King always know what McDonald's and Wendy's are doing. They always keep an eye on Chick-fil-A. Even though they all sell something different, they're all restaurants and they all want to stay in business. So you always have to pay attention to your competitor or whatever the market is doing. If you have low sales, you have to be creative, come up with a plan, do some marketing. But that's not going to help if you're not doing anything for your business. Poor pricing. A lot of small businesses price themselves right out of business. They want the money now. We've got to have it now. I sell pencils. My pencils are $5. I can go to Dollar General and get 5 pencils for $1. You can't overprice yourself out of business. Not enough attention paid to the target market. Who is your target? Know what your target is. Know who they are and what they need. That's how you stay in business. Lack of planning. Small businesses fail because they fail to plan. You gotta plan. Lack of sticking to plans and budgets. Again, if I plan to sell jackrabbits, I've got to stick to selling jackrabbits. if my budget is $25, I can't say, oh, the market is hot now, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. You've got to be willing to say, okay, it's better to sell 5 jackrabbits than try to sell one at $70 instead of $25. Whatever it is, you've got to stick to your plan and budget. You cannot go over. I have a budget sheet that I use for my business. It does not matter if I'm doing something for my house and I don't have the money. I don't go in my business and get it out. I just don't do it. It doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter how bad I want to do it. I don't do it if I don't have the money, because it's not so important to me that I've got to have it. That means my business will go lacking because I took from my business for something personal that I wanted, and I don't do that. And most business owners don't, but a lot of small businesses will. Entrepreneur weaknesses: personal problems, financial situations, too much control, workaholic, not enough experience, communication skills, time management. What weaknesses do you have? We've got to think about that. Whatever weaknesses we have, those tend to control our business, and we can't give that weakness that much power. Why small businesses succeed: they have a clear sense of what they offer. They base their goals on realistic expectations, understand their strengths and weaknesses in comparison to the competition, focus on correct group of clients, target market, specialize in resolving customer problems, are organized for maximum flexibility, create loyalty among clients and assure that they return, construct relationships based on quality, honest attention to clients, they keep good records, and they maintain diligence in costs, prices, and profits. This is why businesses succeed. Not only small businesses, medium and seasoned business. Entrepreneurs take a lot of risk. They risk failure, loss of their own money, because when you start, most entrepreneurs start with their own money. They have many long, hard hours of work. Family problems: if your family don't understand what you're doing, if they're not on the same page, that will cause family problems. Bad timing. The timing has to be right. If you do everything right, your timing will be right. On the upside, reasons people become self-employed: because it helps you control your destiny. You can be your own boss. You can do the things you want to do, go places you want to go, spend time with your family. The financial reward: it may not be lucrative at first. Some people luck out and really make it big of one sale. Everybody's not going to do that. But hard work and long hours directly benefit you. The growth potential is not limited. If you're on a 9-to-5, you're only making X amount of dollars. But the growth potential is unlimited when you're self-employed. You have variety, challenges, and opportunities to learn. There's no limit on the knowledge you can gain from being self-employed. You have a creative urge and you do what you love to do. I really enjoy what I'm doing. And if you don't enjoy it, if it's not a passion for you, maybe you shouldn't do it. But most self-employed individuals, some people are just pushed into it, and it turns out that that is their gift. But if you love what you do it. Think like an entrepreneur. How does an entrepreneur think and act? They understand and pay attention to profitability, manage time effectively, behave ethically, distribute scarce resources effectively. They plan, have a balanced personal life, is creative and innovative, and they brainstorm. Always thinking. My mind is always turning because I think of things, I can do this a different way, or I talk to somebody and they give me an idea of something I can do, or something they say will click. The importance of profit. Profit is the positive difference between what you earn from selling your goods and services and what you pay to produce them. If you're paying too much to produce them, your profit is not going to be great. Use your profit as the only measure of success can be dangerous. It's very dangerous. Cash is king. You need to have sufficient cash flow in order to run your operation. Like I say, I don't touch my business account for anything unless it's business related. Businesses should do regular profitability calculations. Understanding profitability makes it possible to administer your resources most efficiently. Bootstrapping. Getting by with as few resources as possible and gaining the most possible with what you have. Utilizing all of your skills and abilities to make your business viable. To finance a new business, you might need to have 3 jobs, take a loan from a friend or family, sell stock or valuable possessions, take a second mortgage on your house. Bootstrapping also means to look for non-conventional ways to generate income, to minimize cost and maximize your earnings. Effective time management. Time management is extremely important. Good time management requires discipline and organization, but it'll help you become more efficient and improve the quality of your work. It always will. If you start before you get up in the morning, think about what you're doing, plan your day, you'll always have good time management. Before I get out of the bed, I grab my phone, I look at my calendar, I look at what I have going on for the day, and I plan around that, and I make everything happen. Sometimes I'm able to squeeze something extra in. Sometimes I may not, but I always make sure I get everything done that I'm supposed to do for that day. The importance of personal planning, that's where the boundaries should be established between your work and family. your free time. I work my time around my husband. On the weekends, I have my grandkids. I try and manage everything around whatever they want to do, because when they are there, that's their time. And I make sure they have me when they need me. The importance of planning. Look at your business as a whole. You use it as a guide in making daily decisions, useful communication tools, and increase your chances for success. Planning helps you see the future business opportunities. Planning can also make improvements based on your re-evaluation and past plans. Planning takes action, not reaction. Planning also gives you the opportunity to ask yourself questions, key questions. Planning is a vital part of being an entrepreneur. Why do you plan? When do you plan? You are always planning. Consistently planning. Before I go to bed, I have my little notebook and I'll write down something that I always have a notebook. I always write down things as they come into my mind. And eventually you'll see where you can use that idea or that thought. The planning process is dynamic. It is not only a reaction to a critical event, it needs to be integrated into your daily administration of your business. It's the key to success in guiding your business through both difficult and easy times. When the pandemic hit, I thought I was just not going to have any clients. I think I picked up a few because people were at home and they started thinking, how can I do this? How can I do that? And they called. It was really, even though the pandemic was bad, it was good for me because it helped me help them. Planning should be flexible and reflect reality. Always. You have to plan for it. The pandemic gave a lot of people clear perspective in what they wanted to do. Even though we didn't know it was coming or it was going to be as bad as it was, we had to plan around it. We had to be ready and be realistic about the effects. Now let's talk about you. These questions are the questions that you saw in the beginning. Who are you? What is your business idea? How did you come up with it? What's your motivation and your why? Think about your why, not the how, the why. What did you hope to learn from this class? And what's one goal for your business? If you have questions, please send an email to support@impactpreneurcoachingnetwork.com. That's support@impactpreneurcoachingnetwork.com. Let me help you help you.